Hello, everybody. This is Tara. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, my name is Tara. I'm 54 years old and I am vlogging basically about my life, little bits and pieces of wisdom and whatnot that I may find, and an awful lot about my journey to health, uh, utilizing a ketovore, carnivore style or way of eating. So, um, I don't look my best right now. I have my hair up weird. Like it's always better when you could see a little poof of it, but I wanted to take a shower and I didn't want to do my hair, so I put it up in this crazy ponytail and I don't look as beautiful as I could, I guess, but whatever. This is not my beauty channel, so it's okay. I wanted to there's things I forgot to say yesterday and that I remembered after I was done. One of them was that I had a dream yesterday, and I've had this dream often, and I think it's interesting, and I just wanted to see if anybody else has had this dream or something similar. So basically, in the past, I've had this dream, not this particular dream, but this action in the dream that's really wild, where I start running a little bit and then I kind of catch the wave and end up flying. Um, Really super cool. Not necessarily like flying, like looking down to see if I can find a mouse. Um, Kind of like super jumping, super jumping, like a parkour, but extra. So, um, yesterday during my nap, I took a nap yesterday, and I dreamt the parkour dream, but I never really got off the ground. I just always knew how to look exactly where to put my foot and make sure I landed and how to position my foot perfectly so that I could make the next jump right away. And it was really fun. And it was actually a dream inside of a dream, which doesn't happen an awful lot for me. So I thought that was really cool. Um, and I just figured I'd tell you about it. I have no idea what it means. I'm sure I could look it up and hear maybe some traditional meanings about it. But why not just like say it to you guys and ask any of you if you've ever had a dream like that or if you know anybody that has. I know that my daughter's father had a really wild, I would call it an out of body experience, um, in a dream where he was in his house and I can't remember if he went out the window or if he went down the stairs into the front and then flew. I'm not sure. He might not even remember that detail. I don't know. I'm not allowed to talk to him anymore to ask. So, but this dream stuck with me, and it happened when I was with him. So it's really interesting. So he flew over his job, and he worked at a restaurant that used to be wildly popular in Montauk, where we grew up. I don't even think it's there anymore. I think it's been sold, and I'm not even sure if they hold the same name or anything. But gorgeous restaurant, American style seafood eating, nothing super fancy, but $1 billion view. You know what I'm saying? Really nice place. If you've ever been out to Montauk, it was Gosman's, right? So he flew over Gosman's and flew over like the jetty and whatnot, coming into the harbor. And one of the things he saw, he was like, "Oh, the bread truck is here," and the bread truck came. And I don't know if you are familiar with this, but they carry their bread, their loaves, on big square plastic flats that can be stacked and not crush the bread underneath. Um, the bread truck guy, I guess, was in a haste or just not in a good mood or whatever. And he kind of like threw these flats and they were all over the place. And the bread wasn't destroyed, but the guy was obviously not having the best morning shift, really early morning shift. And he noticed that and he was like, wow, that's interesting. And then he flew back to his house and went back into his bed and went to sleep. Woke up the next morning and he was the opening shift. So he used to go in and prep really hardcore at this time. So he was hardcore prep, and then I guess line guy for the first round for the lunch shift for the people that came in the afternoon. Yeah, because he eventually moved to nights later on, I believe. So, um, or it could have been just one of the shifts he did it all. Who knows? Restaurants are wild. He worked in the kitchen, and he was one of the first people there. And he would get there with the owner's sister, and she was kind of like in charge of like the recipes of the food, and she did a lot of the prepping with him. And he beat her to it, and he got there, and the bread was all just like he had seen it when he was flying over the place. Isn't that neat? Now, that doesn't prove that it was an OBE to me, because where he lived, he could have heard that commotion. If there was nothing else going on in that area at that time, which is odd because it was a working port. I'm not talking about big cargo ships or anything like that, but commercial fishing, early money, sport fishing, people getting on boats real early in the dark and coming in the dark, and all that kind of noise was going on. Plus, the bars were open till 4 a.m. So there could have been, too much noise to hear it. But he could have, when he was sleeping, heard the sound of those crates hitting the ground and imagined his OBE. But I don't really believe that, and neither did he. And I remember being like, dude, you got to try that again. If you do that again, you got to pay even more attention and whatnot. And I don't think he's had many others, if he has at all. But I just think that was interesting. And thinking about the fascia that we were talking about yesterday, um, would totally like make sense. Like, think of Spider-Man jumping around and throwing his fascia to extend his reach and get him more places, and all this wild stuff is going through my brain. So I thought it was interesting that I had the parkour dream yesterday, and it was a dream within a dream because I was sleeping, dreaming, and then went to sleep and dreamt again. So I did a double layer in an afternoon nap. Isn't that wild? So I wanted to talk about that. I also want to continue talking about fascia in the sense that for so long, even though I've heard the word, I've been fully aware of Ashley Black for at least 15 years. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure, but like early in my marketing times, I'm pretty sure she was like a leaderboard girl in some company, but I can't recall. And then boom, there she was, rocking the Fascia Blaster, which at first was just a stick. Now she's coming out with a product that is like crazy. It is $1,500. $1,500. Amazing. Anyway, I'm so proud of her and happy for her, and that's great. But I never really paid attention to what fascia was because her original marketing was strictly, as far as I could tell, and I looked at it, was all about cellulite. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care. Maybe, well, now I do. Like, if you saw my cellulite now, you'd be like, whoa, easy, steady. But back in those days, it was just a sign of like, I'm a woman, you know? So now it's a sign of your fascia sucks. But throughout the years, just thinking of it that way and not realizing the capacity of this incredible organ that we have, that they don't teach you about in school, and just something really special about this. Explains so many things in my world. Like I say to you a lot, that I've been in paid for a long time. Like, I can't tell you when it really started. When I really was in pain. I feel like it's been all of my life. And I know that yesterday, and I hope nobody gets upset about what I said about the term fibromyalgia and all that. Like, I hate that. I guess the reason why that I always felt that way is because I didn't complain. I just thought it was life. So, not that I'm not a complainer. Trust me, I am. I complain all the time. It's kind of crazy. I have to smack myself and tell me to stop it. So, looking back on my life and the amount of pain that I've experienced and the kinds of pain that I experienced, and like up until now, what's going on, I remember, um, and you can look back on this channel in the very beginning. And if you can't find it on this one, you can go to my channel description, and in there is the link to my old channel. And in there is the 30-day juice fast. In that period of time, I had some wicked bad pain. I had just, it had not been long since I had left Public Supermarket, which is the worst job in the world that I've ever had. No doubt. Um, but I had, my daughter and I, we were getting our horticulture certification. We were starting um, Nana's Garden, which was a permaculture style edible landscaping business. We wanted to turn everyone's landscaping into edible landscaping because you can literally take a citrus tree and make it a hedge, because that's all trees are hedges that have been allowed to grow up, basically. So Sarah and I went on a 30-day juice fast where we drank raw vegetable juice that we made with our Jack LaLanne. We didn't have a Bruvel, and we did that for 30 days. Knowing what I know now, I would not do that or suggest it. But let's take the butt away. However, there's a certain amount of mental toughness that is born in a fast, especially that long. Uh, the last couple of days of the fast, we started to work our way out of it, and what we were doing to come out of it was absolutely delicious. And I know this is a carnivore, and I don't want to trigger you, but we were taking avocado and spinach and crushing it together with a little bit of red onion. That's how we came off that fast. And of course, it was good because we hadn't eaten any food for 30 days. It's crazy. Um, but it was good. I definitely suggest that you attempt an extended fast. Um, just be really careful, and I wouldn't recommend a juice fast. At this point, I have yet to watch Kelly Hogan's video where she talks about her fat fast. That's probably pretty interesting, and I know it's better for you than a juice fast, in my opinion, according to what I've learned over the years. However, let's get back to that time. So, in that time frame, I developed, not during the fast, but in that time frame, in that year, um, I developed edema in my right foot. It hurt so fucking bad, I couldn't believe it. Like you could feel the, what is that called? What's that fluid we got? Oh my gosh, I'm spacing out. I could feel it rushing, lymphatic fluid rushing into my foot. Oh, it was really painful. And I was like, what the? And I, of course, treated it with as many carbs as I could. Not bad carbs, the single carbs, the vegetables. Um, and I think I've talked about this before. I had made oil tinctures, kind of like tinctures, with turmeric and cayenne pepper, and as much as I could, and had my daughter massage it. It just was so painful. Holy moly. And that's when I got introduced to incline bed therapy, and I've slept that way since and have never had the problem again. Um, so the vegetables didn't do anything for me, and neither did the infused oils. I have a problem. My skin doesn't really take anything. You know what I mean? Like people do a patch of like nicotine, nothing happens for me. It doesn't happen. I do use on occasion LifeWave patches. I've definitely felt that, but it's not delivering a medicine. What it's doing is reflecting your own light into a web of crystals that's very similar to a fascia and throwing it back into the body to help you heal whatever. And it's great stuff. I love it. As a matter of fact, I should probably um, order some more for real. Anyway, but one of the problems I was having at that time, and I was much smaller than I am right now, was my legs. I got big legs. I got the tree trunk legs. Um, they always just felt like if I could just wrap my legs in cellophane and be able to move around like that for a while, that I always felt like that would do it. I never did that though, because I would need help wrapping my legs with cellophane. And so I was always like, yeah, I had my daughter massage my nasty fat foot to try to help the pain, but having her help me wrap my legs in cellophane was just something I couldn't imagine. So I always felt like that. Like my legs have always been super tight. My back has always been super tight. Like I told you, even before my daughter was born, I think I've had a very tight fascia my entire life. Um, for real. I think that's probably why when I have been at my smallest weight, that somebody looking at me would think I was 20 pounds to 30 pounds lighter than I was weighing because my fascia was so tight. I'm pretty sure that's the deal. I need my fascia to loosen up a little bit. I need it to be much more loose. So I'm excited that it came back to my mind, came back to my attention, and that's good. Also, another thing that I want to talk about, this is so funny. I used to be a gym rat. I was addicted to exercise. I don't know how I survived it because I loved my cocaine back in those days. I don't know what kind of heart attack I was trying to give my 19-year-old body. I don't know, but I was trying something. And I was so addicted to working out that if I didn't go work out, and some of you may relate to this, I like the guilt was huge. And I would go to the gym and I would get on the Stairmaster, and this is just when they started coming out with individual feet. Old fashioned Stairmasters was actually a rotating stairwell. That those are brutal. I didn't even do that, but the Stairmaster that you would see in the late 80s, early 90s, right? I would get on that, and when I first started working out, I could do 15 minutes on like a tube. And by the time I was a total gym rat, I was doing an hour or more at the top speed. So my thunder thighs were just bootylicious, beautiful. People used to be like, damn, you've done a good job. Like, holy fuck. The other thing that was really important to me was my back. I always fancied that I had a very nice back, and I did. And so I would go to the weight room and I would do like you bend over and you keep your back straight and you pull the weights up like this. It's a machine, not a Nautilus machine like weight training. I would do that. And then I would go through the Nautilus route and focus mainly on my legs. And then after that, they had an inversion table that you kind of scoot into and sit, and your legs, you could bend them at your knee and it would hold you in. They're really nice. It's my favorite one. And I even looked them up recently to buy one. Yeah, they're $500. So I would stay on that as long as I could tolerate it to get all that blood I just moved around going through all my body. And if I missed a day, I would be like, holy moly. Like, what the fuck? So that's just wild. Even in times where I was really into yoga and did a lot of yoga, even considered getting certified to be a yoga instructor. So tight. So absolutely tight. I think that I am carrying some crazy tight fascia that needs release because it hurts really bad. And I have a feeling that people out there that have fibromyalgia, I think that's what it is. I think it's super tight fascia. The fascia is more nerve endings in it than your other nerve systems. It's smart. It reacts to things. I just, it reacts before your nervous system reacts. So somebody had said that, like, when you touch a hot surface, your hand pulls back before you even feel the pain. That's your fascia thinking for you. And when we get neuropathy and we don't feel the pain, then that part of our fascia has probably um, had better days. And what causes that? Carbohydrates, diabetes. So um, I just want y'all to consider that. I just want you to consider that. And all the different pains that you can feel in your body are probably from that. And I think that's just wild. And I can't believe that. It never occurred to me. I always thought my muscles were tight. But outside of that crazy workout time, I've never been into barbells or anything. And that crazy workout time probably lasted about a year, maybe a little more. Um, like, if you look back at my YouTube channel, you'll see videos of me doing the 21 Day Fix Beachbody, like little clips or videos or whatever. P90X, the original. That's a good workout. That's awesome. I love that guy. Um, but never considered that my fascia was too tight. And so when you're building visceral fat from stress and eating shit food, and that's the stuff that's all in, that's where you get the, what you call a beer belly or the big gut. Um, that's from your carbohydrates and your beer and stress, overloading cortisol. And then you have your subcutaneous fat, the stuff that's on the outside of your muscles. And the looks of that can be determined very heavily by the fascia that's covering your muscles and bones. Because everything is connected to the fascia. So if your fascia is super, super tight, it's not your muscles that are giving you cellulite or that you haven't worked out or all those weird things that we probably think about. It's more than just our lymphatic fluid. Dry brushing is not going to stop that unless it's effective on your fascia. So I, for reals, I recommend you get out there and take a look at that really hard, because I'm thinking about it and thinking about it and looking at more things and trying to be more mindful when I go to do something. Like, especially today, I worked and it's a physical job. So, how do I mindfully use that workout time in a beneficial way for my fascia? And it's like, so I'm thinking about it and trying to utilize that. Like, my knee is still really tight and the fascia is super tight over the top of my knee. Like, I can't bend it all the way. It's trying to protect something. So it's tightened up. You know, when people use kinesiology tape or they'll use braces, it's kind of like a faux fascia kind of thing, like additional support. Maybe the fascia's hurt in that area. So like I have to kneel at work. I have to get on my knees. I'm sorry, but the bottom of that shower stall has to be wiped out. It has to be scrubbed. I cannot do it from a standing position. I will get dizzy and fall down and bang my head. So I have to get on my hands and knees and get that clean, right? There's only so much you can do squatting. Trust me, I try. And so I have to put that knee on the ground. And so today, instead of being like, oh my God, no, I looked at it as an opportunity to just breathe into it. And I don't know if that helped or hurt or what, but it's really good to keep it on your mind. And I think it's important. And that's why I keep talking about it for 30 minutes. So that'd be a total of like almost an hour that I've discussed fascia with you. And I just started looking into it. So I did some bouncy things this morning. I did notice this is another thing, and this is probably why I brought up the workout crazy lady that I used to be 100 years ago. I had crazy lactic acid poisoning all the time. My legs were nonstop restless during that time. I blamed it on the exercise, on my muscles. That was my fascia. And I noticed last night I had crazy leg syndrome. You ever have restless leg syndrome? Isn't it funny that the doctor just wants to give you a medication for that? The same medication they give neuropathy, gabapentin. What? Oh man, I think we're on the brink of really understanding a lot more about our meat suits that we get to live in right here. And yeah, I don't know if I've ever told you, I think I've brought it up before, but from time to time I will get extreme Charlie horses. I'm not talking about the one that, every muscle in my left arm that time. I'm not talking about that I talked about yesterday. I'm talking about extreme Charlie horses, like the kinds that some people get in their calves. When I get a Charlie horse, it tends to be up my sides and wrap around into my stomach, or they'll go all the way up my back. Sometimes they'll be my whole body will just, and I just got to breathe and wait. There's no stretching to get out of it. That's my fascia. I think my fascia is trying to talk to me. So, yeah. If you've got a roller, a body roller, use it. Use all those little manual techniques. If you have a fascia blaster, or if you go to like TJ Maxx, I think they sell knockoffs there. Even like Walgreens might have something like that. Go to a masseuse. Now, The next time I go to my masseuse, because she's really good, I'm going to tell her I don't want a deep tissue massage because I think that's what frustrated her more than anything. Like if I made an appointment and it was in the late morning, she has to cancel all the other appointments at the rest of the day. That's crazy. So I carry a lot of energy in me. And that's not just because my body confuses her with how I could be so tight and how she can't seem to manipulate what she thinks she can. It's more than that. All of us have more than that. And I think fascia is one of the keys. I think it's one of the keys. Maybe it explains a lot of my fluid art looks like fascia. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, what is that? Gnat. Another thing I wanted to bring up that I'm putting it at the end of this video, most people won't even get to it. Um, I'm pretty sure being very low carb will keep the mosquitoes from biting you. I'm pretty sure that's been my experience this summer. They're just not coming near me anymore. Not even those nasty no-see-ums that give me welts. They bit me once, and that's it. So, actually, twice. I got one here, and it blew it up, and then I got one on my hand, and it blew it up. So, I don't think those Gates loving bugs like someone like us. So, anyway, I'm gonna go. I think it's a long time. 32 minutes, long time. And sitting on the exercise ball, I'm feeling it in my hip, so I might just go roll around on my roller. I have a back roller that's pretty painful. Okay. It like makes me see stars, it hurts. But it's good. And then I have another one that doesn't hurt that bad, but it's pretty intense. Maybe I'll go roll around a little bit. I feel good today. Feel really good today. And I had a beautiful, beautiful place to work today. Gorgeous. Just unbelievable. Maybe I'll make that the thumbnail. Unbelievable. Vermont is so fucking beautiful. It's not even funny. It's crazy. Anyway, I love you long time. I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe. Maybe in the morning. I got work tomorrow. I'll bring this fancy. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you on the other side. Bye bye.